Welcome to Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. I'm JJ Flizanes, your host. Thank you for downloading today's show. Today we're going to talk about removing blocks to prosperity and love, and we have back Lisa Thomas. Lisa Thomas has been on the show before. About 4 or 5 weeks ago, we did her first show on explaining clearing inherited emotional DNA, because that's what Lisa does. She is an energy healer who helps to clear inherited emotional DNA. So if you've not heard that show yet, I think it would be best to stop listening now, go back, download that show, and listen to that first. It gives you a framework from which to get the most out of today's show. Now, if you've listened to that show and you're on part 2, you're in order, let me explain that for a lot of the beginning of this session, we talk about how Lisa does what she does. And then we're going to get to all of the different reasons and emotional blocks that people have to prosperity and love towards the later half of the show. But in the first half, I want you to hear how she does what she does, because it's very unique. And I think it gives you a visual about what's happening, both for you and for her, whether you're on Skype, whether you're in person, whether it's a group healing circle. To me, it makes it more real when you can insert yourself in your mind into the visual of what's going on. Because my first session, as you're going to hear, as I explained to you in this show, my idea about what was going to be happening was very, very different. And so I felt a little ill-prepared and do have a little regret about what I didn't know going into the first session. So I want to make sure you understand, just in the case that you ever want to work with her or experience this, or if you meet somebody else that does the same thing, just to be aware of all the different kinds of modalities and practices and healers there are out there. So one thing I will let you know and remind you, if you've been listening to the show for a while, is that Lisa Thomas is one of my presenters at Releasing What Weighs You Down in January. And she's not only going to be there and working with people one-on-one in some ways and capacities, but she's going to be doing a group live healing. Lisa doesn't do group live healings. She doesn't have them on her schedule. She works with people one-on-one or does the group healing circle on the phone. That's it. So this is a treat. If you really feel strongly about wanting to have a session with her, I invite you to go to healwithlisa.com. That is where you're going to get the JJ special. Nobody else has access to this. So healwithlisa.com gets you that private session. It's a 1-hour Skype session, or if you live locally, you can request, if she's got the time, to see her in person, which of course I think is the best thing to do if you do live locally. But the one-on-one Skype session is as powerful if that's the best way for you to get it in. Now, if you're on the fence about it, you could come to the live event, meet her, have a mini group healing, do all the other work we're going to do so that you get very crystal clear on what you could work with her on. And I do believe that she might be offering some sessions for participants of the event, either before or after the event. So it would be a great reason for you to come out, do the workshop, and work with Lisa at the same time. Double whammy, double investment, double the benefit, and double the release of things that are blocking you in prosperity and love and in life. So come on over to releasingwhatweighyoudown.com. December 14th, 2017 is the last offer for the 2-pay. So for anyone who wants to make it a little bit, spread the payments out a little bit, December 14th is the last day you can do a 2-pay for the event, which again is January 12th to the 14th, 2018 in Los Angeles, or you can buy a virtual ticket. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Lisa back onto the show. Welcome back to the show, Lisa.
Thank you very much, JJ. It's an honor.
So if you haven't heard Lisa's first show we did, Clearing Inherited Emotional DNA, you will not want to miss that. It is the piece to the puzzle that will make the rest of this all make sense. We are going to go over as if you're listening for the first time, but we covered a lot of really cool, interesting stuff to really get you caught up with the gifts that Lisa has. She's a very gifted healer, and you get to understand and learn a little bit more about her in that first show of Clearing Inherited Emotional DNA. So today we're going to talk about removing blocks to prosperity and love. And what I want to do, because I know people have been waiting for the show because they wanted to know more about how these sessions work, especially working with you one-on-one, is sort of how it works. And I want to start off by telling you all what I thought. So I was introduced to Lisa by a mutual acquaintance, an acupuncturist, and I was telling her about my medical intuitive, and she asked me, did I know Lisa? And I said no, and she sent me the link to her website. And I was at that time recording for the Fit to Love podcast show, and I was getting to the end of season 2, and I thought maybe I'll have her on as a guest, but it ended up that I didn't need any more content. So I thought, well, just tell me what you do. I'm going to be recording again in the future. So she explained to me what she explained in the last session, and I thought, well, I want that. Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to clear inherited emotional DNA? You would be crazy not to want to clear crap that was given to you, right? That you don't have any control over. So of course I was like, well, I want that. So it's June of 2016, or it's May when we had this conversation. And so I booked my session with her in June. That was before she had a 15 million month wait list because she's so good. And I'm thinking this is going to be like a Reiki session, because when you hear energy healer, quite honestly, energy
Yeah.
healer
Yeah.
is a lot about hands-on healing, a lot of, or Reiki energy work, or clearing auras, or something that isn't what you do. And so I come into Lisa's, and she says, okay, sit down next to me. And now mind you, I had just had acupuncture, and I was feeling really calm, and I was feeling really good. And I thought, oh, like, she's just gonna like see what's in my aura, and she's gonna clear it away, and I'm just gonna lay here, and she's gonna do all the work. And so
Yeah.
I come in, and Lisa goes, sit down next to me right here. And I'm like, what? And then in front of her, she has all of her charts and all of her words and all of her things, all of her tools to help her. So, and next thing I know, she says, what do you want to work on? And I'm like,
Mhm.
because I just assumed you would tell me what I had to work on. And so all of a
Yeah.
sudden, I thought, oh my God, I'm so ill prepared. I don't know what I want to work on. And you said to me, she goes, well, you feel really good, but JJ, if you don't have anything, I can't help you. And I was like, I said, okay, well, give me a minute. I just wasn't prepared. And now you know me, right? I'm prepared. Like, if I know what
Yeah.
I'm doing,
Yes.
I'm always
Yep.
prepared. So of course I like, which was probably a good thing actually, because it told me
Yeah.
what came up for me in the 4 things that we chose to focus on was an order of importance in that moment, and I was surprised by that order. So needless to say, so I gave her my 4 things, we talked about it, and then I was done, and the rest of the session was about Lisa. Now, one more story before I let Lisa go here and tell us about how she works, because I'm telling you from my perspective, and then I want her to tell you from her perspective. So from you sitting in the chair next to her or being on Skype, she clicks into you and asks permission to test, and she does, and she'll explain all that. But from the moment she opened her mouth, literally, and my biggest regret is that I did not know and I'm making this a public service announcement to all of you. If you do a private session, please record it, because my biggest regret is I did not know that I could have recorded that session, because the things you said to me in that session, I'm going to start to cry. The things you said to me in that session changed my life, because there are things that people like, there are things that you think about people out there and you question, am I crazy? Am I being arrogant? Or am I fooling myself? Or who am I to think that? Who am I to do that? Whatever. You have those thoughts. We all have those thoughts. And to have someone who doesn't know you reach in and pull those thoughts out and then say yes and validate them is, I mean, honestly, Lisa, I've said this. I said this to my mother. I said this to the medical. I said, there's no one who has ever seen me as clearly and knows me as well on this planet than you.
Oh, well, it's my privilege. Okay. Thank you, JJ.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I just like when you were telling the story in our last show about following the yes and having someone say, do this. No, I didn't have a huge push. Someone just said, here. I said, okay. And then I mean, I was all yes, 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 yes. But what I didn't realize I was walking into was something that was going to make such a powerful shift for me. And okay, so basically, I'm gonna end my story there for right now and tell you all that pass. And then, by the way, I did, and I also cried the entire session. I probably used the entire box of Kleenexes, and when I say I cried, and I tell people that, it's hilarious. I have sent you a bunch of people, and one of those people that I've sent you actually came to you because I told her I cried the entire session.
Wow.
Because people see me and they think, you cried? I mean, I'm thinking,
Mm.
do you not see me? Do you not see me? I mean, I guess
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
sort of the strength or the fire or the whatever you project about me. Oh my gosh, I can come to tears in a half a second. Like, my heart's open.
Mhm.
It's just that I
Mhm.
have a resilient spirit and heart that I've worked on, but to be seen is like the biggest gift in the world. So after that, I just pretty much cried the whole session, did whatever affirmations you told me to, and then left there and didn't
Yeah.
talk to anybody for a couple days because
Yeah.
because I had to like sit with it. So all right, so now I'm gonna let you
So,
describe what you
okay.
do.
Well, first I want to say that tears to me are the truth, is the body's truth speaking to you. So I don't want people to think that the tears represent this trauma, because they don't. Tears represent truth. We're not digging into traumas that you have to relive. It's more of it, the tears of somebody, like JJ said, is seeing me for who I am and the gratitude that I have for that. Those are the types of tears that you'll experience. Now, let's first address the word healer, okay? Because in all honesty, my gifts that I have, anybody anybody can do energy work. And I don't think I'm any better than somebody else that's an energy worker. You don't have to be clairvoyant, you don't have to be clairaudient to do what I do. Those two particular gifts that I have from birth just make icing on the cake. They give me validation as to why I have them, because I'm understanding things within the bloodline. But it doesn't make me better than somebody else. I am not physically healing the body, but I have a gift to be able to know what's preventing your body from either feeling authentic. Wherever you have, I can help with pain energy. But that's not, so the reason I say that is the body traps things. Either we inherited it, like an inherited miasm of a from our ancestors. I can explain what that means. But a lot of times, the pain in the body is really a manifestation of a lot of old hurt, a lot of old wounds that are emotional. And so when I asked, like I did JJ, tell me what you want to work on, she didn't come to me and say, I want to work on pain energy. She said, whatever it was, I want this. And what I ask my clients are, what do you want more of? What do you want less of? What patterns do you feel keep repeating themselves that are negative? You can have an addiction to sugar that doesn't have to stick around. You can have been born to a father and a mother, either one, who had cheated on their spouse. And so automatically you inherited this pattern. Well, they don't have to stay with us. First thing I want to say, our parents did not pass these negative patterns down to us on purpose. And we did not do anything wrong to inherit them. That's number one. It's just the byproduct. We are the byproduct, right, of our lineage and how we're raised. Things do get passed down in the cell memory of the body. It just does. Traumas, hurts, pains, they get handed down. And I call the work that I do a tender mercy from the universe, because this is a tender mercy from the universe in that we do not have to keep what doesn't serve our highest good. And traumas of an ancestor, we don't have to own those. No, we don't. To release those things so that our own gifts and talents and our life's purpose can come to full manifestation. So our hopes and our dreams and our bright ideas can energetically come to fruition. We each came to Earth for a purpose, for a reason, and it serves everybody's highest good to be allowed the opportunity to do that. And that's why I call that a tender mercy of the universe, to release what isn't ours so that we can live a life that's fulfilled on our journey in our purpose.
So now let's talk about working with you so people can understand the process of how it is you do what you do, because it is very unique.
It is very unique. And what I've done is I've taken years of studying different, they're called modalities. So it's just a certification. That's all it is. And I never knew why I was doing those certifications, except that it was a hobby of mine. Well, right? The reason I started doing this as a business is not because I ever set out with a desire to do that. It's because by the time I got to the end of that last certification that I did, where I had to work on those 30 people and all that stuff, I was exhausted. Exhausted. Now, keep in mind, if I had never done that certification, I wouldn't be where I am. If I had never done that certification, I would have never known why I had these particular gifts and how to use them. If I had never done that certification, I would have never gotten over my fear to charge, because it was at the end of the certification that I realized I was tired because there was not an equal exchange of energy going on. But see, I had to be educated, and we can be educated spiritually in those types of things, as well as by going to classes. So I was being taught in that process by my guardians, by my angels, in what they were just leading me and I was following. I had inherited scarcity, which means you don't, it was a scarcity of time, first of all, and the belief that I had to work myself to the bone in order to justify making money. I had an inherited scarcity mentality around money, that if you were seen to have money, you weren't safe, or people wouldn't, they would be judgmental of you if you had money. So no, you didn't earn that. And you couldn't, and I also had this belief that you couldn't be spiritual and prosperous. Well, that didn't serve me. So I worked on releasing my own stuff. Coming to me in a session is I'm going to muscle test your body. And I do that by connecting with you. So, like JJ had said, I work with people from all over the world, all over in all walks of life, and I feel that a privilege. I can honestly tell you that I can find the talent in everybody. Every one of my clients have gifts and talents. And it's my intention that I can clear what's blocking them so that they can get those talents out into the world, their bright ideas energetically out into the world. You can even be successful and then all of a sudden you don't feel like, what's happened? I've lost my mojo. Well, you know what? There might be a few things going on. It might be inherited. And I'm going to release that so you can feel safe, because a lot of people that are successful, they can only be so successful in their mind, and then fear sets in and they have a fear of success that can be inherited. So I'm taking what's inherited and I'm muscle testing your body to find it out. So even though I'm clairaudient and I'm going to hear, sometimes ancestors have a lot to say to me. They might know what they think it is, and it's not that they're wrong, but I always honor the body first. I'm always going to honor the client's body, because if the subconscious trusts me, remember, the subconscious is your protector. It's going to protect you. If it trusts me, it will give me what you need to release at that time in its perfect order. That's that's huge. So it's not that I'm not honoring the ancestors, okay? I do, and eventually whatever they said to me out loud usually ends up coming up, but I want to release everything according to the subconscious desire for that body, because it'll serve the client's highest good that way.
And I want to interject real quick that you muscle test yourself.
Yeah.
Like after you connect with the person. So you're not actually muscle testing me, you are muscle testing, you're channeling my body to muscle test on you. So it all happens, all the
Yeah.
testing happens on you, but it's being connected to me.
Yeah. And if you're doing a phone session with me, I'm going to connect you with you as the surrogate. So what that means is I am releasing from myself, and as I'm releasing from myself, it releases for you. So I'm very busy on my end. Okay, I'm constantly moving, and how I do it is I come over and down the governing meridian of the body. So it's releasing out of your back area, if you want to think of it that way. I use magnets. The reason I use magnets is twofold. I think they're 100 times stronger than my hand. Now, clearly, if somebody's pregnant, even very beginning pregnancy, it doesn't matter. I'm never going to use a magnet on them. Or if they have a pacemaker, or if they have a lot of metal in their back, I'm not going to use these two ginormous magnets. But the reason I like to use them is I think they're stronger than my hand. And the other reason is I can then allow the knowledge to come to me about their body. I can tap into their body. I can tap into what's going on within them. And I don't have to worry about taking in their energy. I see a lot of people, and I'm not overweight. I don't take in people's energy. But if I'm using my hand, then I'm not free to feel as clearly, because I'm always a little bit aware to make sure that I'm not owning their energy. With a magnet, I don't have to do that. So I keep coming down the back. So if somebody's sitting next to me on my sofa, they kind of lean forward, and I'm rolling my magnets down their back. They're on this like long wand. If they're connected with me energetically and you are in Venezuela, which is a truth there, right? I'm releasing it off of myself. Sometimes, this is really cool. Sometimes I can identify who's standing with you in your lineage. And it's almost as if they're doing my job for me. And they are pulling those emotions right energetically out of your body. It's very cool.
Hmm. That is very cool. And to give you guys the visual even more, so basically, there's you said down, Lisa. You're going down when you're clearing, or up?
I'm going down.
So down when she is releasing whatever, when she decides, and how she decides what she is releasing after she muscle tests you, is she's got all these different charts and things that will help her quickly pinpoint what chakra it's in, what part of your body it's in, what it is, what the word means, and then use her gifts to marry that all together and then take that wand through your body or through hers to release it. And if you're in person, then she'll go the opposite direction after she's done releasing it to put in and replace it with good stuff.
Right. So let me tell you, the reason I don't muscle test the client's body is because one, it slows me down. All right. But your arm gets really tired out there. And I have a certain way of muscle testing where I only want to know the priority of the body. So my clients have to drink a lot of water. They have to be well hydrated when they come. If you're doing a phone session with me, you're going to have water by you, because if not, the subconscious goes into fear mode. It's going to give me funky answers. I know immediately when someone's not hydrated. And I want the priority. I can't do that. I can't, it's harder for me to do that if I'm muscle testing. If somebody had their body, if I muscle test their body and they have a weak arm or they have a weak shoulder, I should say, it's going to make them really sore. So I'm grateful that I don't have to do that for my clients. It allows me to be able to go deeper and to do more. When it's gone, I can even tell when it's gone, but there's still a resonance. And a resonance is like the ripple effect, or a better example would be the bell ringing in a college tower. Notre Dame, USC, UCLA, right? All colleges have a bell. The bell stops, but the ringing keeps going. I will even clear an emotion to where the ringing is gone within you. Now, does it mean you only have one inherited emotion? No. If you think about a family tree, right? That comes in from all over the place. So I can release abandonment from your mother's mother, going back ever how many generations, but that doesn't mean you're not going to get abandonment from the mother's father or the mother's mother's father from then. But every emotion that I find that I'm honed in on is going to be gone. And what I do is I formulate questions to your subconscious, questions even on my healing circles. These are questions, and they're like this: what needs to be released to allow, let's use money since you brought up money, JJ.
Yeah, today's
What needs to
removing
be,
blocks on prosperity and
right?
love. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. What needs to be released to allow money to flow easier? Right? Then what I'm doing is those scan lists are hundreds of words, and I'm able to narrow down, because I'm muscle testing, what word that. Now, also, I want you to know that I delight in negative words,
Yes, you always
right?
laugh. You
I
always
do.
laugh, and
I
you're like,
do.
and then you have to explain.
Yes,
I'm sorry, I'm not being disrespectful. I love negative words. I love icky words because I clear them.
they're
Yep.
icky. I clear them. So an icky word just means that we're going deep and it's not going to stay. Then this is where my gifts come in handy. All right. Well, first of all, I'm going to let me back up. If it's inherited, I'm going to find out if it's on your mother's and your father's. And out of respect for the lineage and the ancestors, I identify the first four people. Then I just fast forward. And I'm going to ask your body, is it more than 5? Is it more than 10? Is it more than 15? Let's say I get a no on 15. Then I just go back. Is it 14, 13? Oh, it's 12. And then
Generations, 12
yeah,
generations. Just want to make sure people
yeah,
are listening to the 12 generations.
good point, right? And I'm going to release it as an inherited emotion from your DNA tissues, your fibers, and the tapestry of your physical body, as well as your soul. I keep talking. You're always engaged with me. I keep talking until I feel it released. When I release it from you, it's going to release from everybody in your lineage on both sides of the veil. Now, I've pulled out that cloud. Let's say you're a millennial and you've never listened to the Charlie Brown, or you've never watched the Charlie Brown series, because I referred to Pigpen in the Charlie Brown series where he has that dust cloud over him, around him, and I'm pulling those dust clouds out. Think of a big bay window with a sheer drape, and you see the clouds coming in that bay window because of the trees outside. I am going into your body. I'm pulling those clouds out of the cells and the space in between because I want the cells in your body to free roam as they should and not be stuck, not be trapped in your knees, so to speak, not to be trapped in your heart. I want to release those clouds so that your chi energy flows easily from the crown to your root. That's my intention. So I love to find the blocks of what's preventing either money or love from coming into your life, from attracting the right partner that serves your highest good.
Which is the topic of today's show, removing blocks to prosperity and love. So with that said, let's go into, what Lisa does is very either group oriented, where she's asking those questions, or individual oriented, where you're asking and you're deciding on what to work on. So it's a personalized experience, but it's also very active for her. And what I'm asking her to do now is something a little bit different, which is to basically give us, the listeners, you and I, some ideas. And she's worked with a lot of people, she's helped a lot of people, including me. And I think it would be really interesting and good for people to recognize, besides the fact that yes, a lot of this is going to come from inherited emotional DNA, which is kind of the point. But what are some of those like top blocks that people have to both prosperity and love?
There's absolutely hands down three common ones for prosperity. Whether it's in business or whatever, for entrepreneurs, the three most common for everybody is overwhelm, okay, fear, and shame. Those are your three most for prosperity. Scarcity shows up within those, okay? Scarcity of time, scarcity of money, scarcity of love also shows up right within the heart space. Now, when it comes to love, the three most common are rejection, abandonment, and betrayal. Those are your three most common there. Now, there's a lot of emotions that can go within there too. Love unreceived. There isn't just three most. I just am telling you the three for each one of those, right? I'm going to explain what a heart wall is. A heart wall, we have our cognitive brain, our brain, and subconscious. We don't really feel pain in the brain. A headache is not, I'm not talking about that. That's different. That's neurological. So, but have you ever been hurt by somebody? Have you ever been had your heart broken from your first boyfriend, that first guy that you kissed or girl that you kissed, and then they didn't respond to you the same way after that? We will physically feel pain in our heart. Our heart is a feeler brain. And what happens with inherited, and there's two other ways that emotions get trapped, but the subconscious will pull those emotions up and they're going to put them right in front of our heart. And we can create miles of what's called an energetic heart wall so that, now remember, your subconscious is doing it to protect you, but it does it so that you won't feel pain, is why it does it. But it doesn't serve us. We really want to process our emotions. Okay. But what happens is, I'll use an example from Bradley Nelson. He's a doctor and he uses this example and it's absolutely perfect. Let's say that you see somebody in a bar or a gathering and you think, wow, they're cute. And you send out this little butterfly of flirtation. And by the time it goes through shame, abandonment, rejection, betrayal, okay, and it goes through miles of a heart wall, by the time it reaches that other person across the room, it's like three bats flying in their face. So what happens, what originally somebody looked at you and thought, oh, that looks like a beautiful soul or a beautiful person. And then boom, within a second, you're like, nope, not my girl. Nope, not my guy. When really you don't have any idea why. It's because subconsciously we pick up on those vibrations when really you might be perfect for each other. So I love releasing heart walls. Love it.
So one of my favorite, I know I talked about therapy in the last show a little bit, and what Lisa does and what you can get from even just purchasing her healing circles like the recording. You don't even need to be on it live, and just doing it. Like the therapeutic effects of the clearing is deep and powerful and fast, like faster than, but it's on a subconscious level. So while I appreciate therapy, and those of you that have been on the show long enough or listened to any of the Fit to Love shows know that I've got very specific recommendations for kinds of therapy, and that it needs to have other tools like EMDR, eye movement desensitizing reestablishment, or for relationships, that the best kind of relationship therapy is Imago. Hands down, if you're a couple going to therapy, if you're not doing Imago, you are wasting time. Because just what Lisa just explained about those heart walls, we choose our partners based on the wounds of our past and wanting to heal those. And doing the conscious work plus the clearing is going to get you double results in terms of getting over some of these blocks that we our subconscious wants to heal. So we choose someone that we think we can, again, subconsciously. But then if we're not willing to, like one of the things when you were talking about that heart wall, it also made me think about something Brene Brown talks about, which I've said and quoted in my books, which is that, and about your heart. Most of us some of us create them consciously, the heart walls. We choose not to share or to be open or to be vulnerable because we don't want to get hurt. But when you close your heart, especially consciously, when you make that decision to close your heart to protect yourself, you also can't let in love. So you're not just closing out the bad stuff, you're closing out all of it. So this modality is going to help to make it easier for you to open your heart and keep your heart open and build resilience, because without it being open, not only are you going to not feel love, you'll be protected, but you'll feel nothing. You'll feel nothing positive because you can't decide what comes in the door. It's either open or shut. So definitely, I love that we're talking about removing blocks to love, because a lot of what I've heard in some of the healing circles that I have, or of the prosperity ones, I haven't done a lot on love. But I think this is fabulous, because for anyone doing any kind of therapeutic work or relationship work, that just makes complete sense to add this in.
And you're absolutely right, JJ. We can think that we're blocked in one area and not realize that that root goes all around and it impacts other areas of our life. So I can be releasing somebody to attract the right partner, and I pick up that they also have a scarcity of money. So if you don't feel worthy of having love in your life, or you don't, keep attracting the same slime bag or the same person that abandons, it's going to show up in your business. It's going to show up in your relationships with kids and family members. It's not just one area of our life. In fact, I don't know that I've ever felt something in one area. But when somebody comes to me, they don't have to know how it shows up. They just need to be able to tell me what they don't want to keep doing or what they do want more of. And I can find it.
Yep, yes, she can. She can, and it's really awesome. And I want to make sure that those of you that did not hear the first show, please, please, please go back and listen to Clearing Inherited Emotional DNA. And for the JJ special, for Lisa's one-on-one session, either through Skype or in person if you live locally and she's got the time for you, you can go to healwithlisa.com. Again, that's healwithlisa.com. And if you're interested in checking out her group healing circles, you can go to healwithlisaaudios.com. Again, that's healwithlisaaudios.com. So Lisa, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you work with people?
You can get on my calendar to have a 15-minute talk with me. I don't work with everyone, and it's not because I don't think I can help everybody. It's because I might not be the best person for you. And so I want to talk to you. I want to know what your big pain is. I want to in life, or what it is that you want my help with. I'll tell you if I don't think I can help you. I'll always be honest. That's what I have to do in order to honor my gifts. You can ask me questions during that time. You can also go on my website and you can research. If you scroll all the way down, they're not blogs. Those are actual healing circles. So if a topic, in fact, I have a free one on there. It's free for the first 3/4. It's an inherited money clearing. And then if you want to own it and you want it, the rest of it, it's only $17. So it's a very minor investment to clear some inherited money blocks. But you can find topics that are going to resonate with you, and you can just buy the download. You get to keep them. And I encourage you to listen to them every other day to allow your body to heal and to balance. Because remember, you're balancing after I've pulled those emotions out. JJ will tell you I spend a lot of time replacing them which is kind of what makes it fun that I do have these gifts and I can feel the ancestors and talk to them and vice, everything going back and forth. Because as I come back up that governing meridian of the body, either on mine or their or my clients, I replace it specifically with the things that you need. So if I take out betrayal, I'm going to replace it with trust and confidence and clarity to see who you are. So these aren't just random words. These are the words that I intuitively feel that an individual needs. Now, they might be similar every time because everybody needs those, right? Sometimes I get very specific with my on ones and even in the healing circles, wouldn't you say, JJ?
Yes. Yep. I knew you were talking to me. Although, quite honestly, when I've heard other people talk about your healing circles, they're all people that weren't on the live calls, who got the recording afterwards, said, how did she know every single thing about me? Everything was applicable to me. And multiple people have said that.
Well, thank you. That makes me feel good. And that has been ever since I had that experience of expanding my energy to be able to touch those in the future. So that makes me feel good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good. Well, and if you also want any special JJ perks from Lisa, come on over to jjflazanes.com and you can go through my link to get some things that Lisa doesn't offer to just anybody. So you are on
That's
the
right.
primo list by being with me. And then you're going to get on her primo list because she is who you also want to be involved with. I am sure everybody is going to be checking you out today because everybody, whether you could even just have plenty of money and feel lots of love, but there's always the next level and the next level. And again, if you've been listening to the first show as well as the second show, who would not? I mean, if you know you have blocks that have been passed down to you, why not clear them? So we could talk all day, and we will, just won't be recorded. Thank you. I hope you all have enjoyed in today's show. It's a pleasure for me to bring Lisa to you. I really hope you utilize her group healing circle. Any personal sessions that you want to do with her, come on over and check out what I have to offer you, and to get connected with Lisa really soon. Lisa, you're a gem. I love you. Thank you for coming on to the show.
I love you too, JJ. Thank you.
You've been listening to Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. As a quick reminder, if you're interested in working with Lisa Thomas one-on-one, check out healwithlisa.com. Or if you'd like to check out her healing circle calls that you can download and use at your convenience, you can go to healwithlisaaudios.com. And one more gentle reminder about how much I want to meet you. Come join us at the January event and check out releasingwhatweighyoudown.com.